What is up, you guys? Welcome to The Body Knows. If this is your first time here, hello. If you're returning, welcome back, my friend. I want to share a revelation I had with you guys last night. And it's pretty cool because I felt really drawn to, I'm using the box as a camera stand actually, but I felt really drawn to my Wild Unknown Alchemy deck. And I've only used this deck like a handful of times, but it had a message for us, for sure. It's really reflecting a process that a lot of us are currently going through. And specifically, the people that I'm speaking to probably resonate with the concept of being a cycle breaker, if you will. Or, you know, the black sheep whole thing. Or just the one in the family, the one in your lineage who is, instead of just becoming the patterns of their upbringing, you're changing it, you're alchemizing it into authenticity, into a life that actually feels like you. You're not just, the word sheep is coming into my mind, but I feel like that's a little aggressive. But you're not just wearing the hand-me-downs, if you will. Like, you're completely reinventing yourself. And you're shedding a lot of the old stories. And you've been doing this for a really long time. And maybe if you're like me, you're coming up on a 10-year threshold. Because I know that's happening for me. This Sagittarius full moon kind of made it obvious that I just went through a 10-year cycle, which was really cool. It's very cool because, you know, when we're in the messy process, it kind of feels like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what's happening? Is anything happening? Am I just crazy? Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? And so this Sagittarius full moon really did, in perfect Sagittarian energy, bring a full big picture moment to me. And I believe I'm just a mirror to those of you that are kind of on a similar journey with me. But I did ask my spirit, because I was having this really like powerful integrative moment, however you want to say that. Like, everything was integrating. All this shit I've been learning for all this time was coming full circle for me last night. I mean, it's been building, but it really came to a head last night when I was trying to fucking sleep. And if anybody's on the spiritual journey, or the alchemist journey, if you will, where you are really in this transformation mode and have been for a long time, you know that this shit can really disrupt your sleep. At least that's happening for me. My sleep has been so messed up, and it's kind of perfect because literally the cards that I pulled out today, they speak to that. They're just reflecting it. And then we also have this other card, and I'm going to break them down for you guys. I'm going to show them to you guys, but I'm just kind of like building this up here. We have this other card here that also talks about exactly what's happening right now, synchronicities, okay? Because this video is going to act as a synchronicity for someone. It's going to act as a confirmation moment for someone where, and it essentially feels like, whoa, hold on, my inner process is being reflected to me in the outer, even though I don't know you, you don't know me. There's no like logical connection between us, but yet there's a connection between us. Like, I feel this and you feel this, and we, you know, you're saying things that I'm experiencing. I've been experiencing this too all week. Okay. I mean, it's been like, I'm not a stranger to synchronicity, but it's been real like specific, and it's been like real consistent, more so than ever before. You know, I've never experienced it like this. And that's actually a really big sign of something that is transforming. But I want to make it real practical. I want to make it real relatable for a second and ground it into the earthly realm, because there is something that came up. So, okay, let me go back to last night. So I had this like profound moment of clarity. And the thing that I decided I was going to manifest 10 years ago, ironically around the Sagittarius like full moons that was happening in May and June in 2016, if I'm correct about that. I looked it up and that's what I found, but you know, can correct me if I'm wrong. But I literally remember I quit my corporate job around that time. It may have been June of 2016 actually, because I was just going to like fucking, like, I wanted to jump off a cliff. I was so miserable. Like, I'm not built for that shit. I'm not built for it. I didn't know that then. But I decided to quit my corporate job and just, like, dive off into the unknown of, like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to figure it out. All I know is I got to work for myself. So that's where I started this journey. And the core desire behind that was I wanted freedom. I wanted financial freedom. But back then, that version of me did not have a clue as to what financial freedom actually meant. I had no idea. I thought it just meant having a lot of money. No. No. That's not really what financial freedom is. In fact, that can be financial imprisonment in a lot of cases. Like, that's, it's all about the internal orientation, the identity, the perspective that we're moving from, more so than the material effects. And just a side note. But anyway, so I had this moment last night where everything came to a head and I felt financially free. Like, literally, like, in my mind and body, I felt financially free. And I felt like, oh, okay, cool. And I felt so fucking good just from, like, my internal process that literally for a moment I finally understood what people meant, what Dr. Joe Dispenza always talks about whenever he says people get to this point where they don't even want what they thought they wanted anymore because they just feel really good and whole already. Because initially we wanted these things because we thought this thing will make me feel this way, right? So I had that moment. I was like, wow, okay. And I even wrote it down in my notebook last night. I wrote down the material event almost seems dull when contrasted with the rush that seems to come from consciously participating with life versus unconsciously participating. And I know that's kind of a mouthful, but if you get it, you get it. I'm trusting that this is going to resonate with those who are ready for this level of conversation, okay? And I don't mean that in any kind of weird way. I just mean that in the sense of we're at different levels of our journey. And if nothing I say on this video makes sense, this message probably isn't for you. But if it's resonating, you're in the right place. But so okay. So I said the shock of, like, the thing, right? The thing that made me feel that way, the idea, like, okay, let's say an amount of money or whatever. The shock of that physically appearing, this is what I realized. It didn't seem like the shock from, oh, it's here, yay. It just seemed like the kind of shock that happens from seeing that connection. It's kind of like, okay, when you experience a synchronicity, like a direct to mirror event, like you have a thought and then it's responded to out here in some really seemingly indirect way, right? But it's so specific that you're like, all right, who's listening to me? Who's inside my fucking head? Like that kind of energy, right? Or like you're going through a process and then you turn on a fucking reading on YouTube and like this, huh? And then they're saying exactly what you've been going through. They're calling out very specific things that you're experiencing and you're like, whoa, that's trippy. That's trippy, right? Okay. That feeling, okay? It's the, I'm getting the sense that that's the juice. Like, God, I hope I can articulate this. That is the sauce. That is the, that is the fucking magic right there. That's the feeling, okay? That's the source of the joy, not the material event. The material event is just like the interface, the mask that the energy is parading around in. But really, it's this sense of, holy shit, that feels magical. That feels magical. There's like, it's like the, and I'm getting like that feeling, that deliciousness that comes from that. That's what it feels like to be fucking connected to your source consciously, okay? Like when you're aware of it, it feels like magic, but really it's just how reality functions when you're in alignment. That's just how it is. But okay, so the practical part, I know I haven't made it practical yet. The thing that I wanted to really talk to you guys about today, and we're going to jump around and it's going to be messy today. And it fucking is what it is. Like I said, I'm trusting the universe and all this. Only take what resonates, leave what doesn't though, guys. Okay. Always trust your own body in this. Your body knows. Anyway. Okay, so after I had this moment where I was like, ooh, like I don't even care about the thing anymore because like, damn, that felt delicious. And I know when that thing comes, then, you know, life's going to get real. And it's not just going to be this pretty floaty idea anymore. It's going to be like, oh, here's the responsibility now that comes along with this thing. And that's not a bad thing. It's just, it makes it a little more like dull, if you will, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's magic in the dullness and the mundane. That's all divine as well. And we're not skimping on that. We appreciate that more because of this. But it's just, it comes, it's kind of like manifesting a lover or a person, you know. It sounds so perfect in your head, but then when reality happens, it's usually a lot more complex, right? Because then you've got this whole person with their own personality, their own bullshit, their own all this stuff, right? For better or worse. And whereas in your head, it was just like clean and untouched, you know? And so both parts of that process matter and are beautiful and divine. And they all bring their own lessons and expansion and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we don't want to just leave it in the head. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to bring it into the body, into the world. That's literally the process of manifestation. But okay, so I asked Spirit, as I'm like basking in this joy, I'm sensing that I'm going to hit a wall. I'm like, okay, I know myself. And I know that tomorrow when I wake up, I know the first thing my mind's probably going to do is look for evidence of what I just felt. It's going to look for proof. It's going to look around. It's going to like, oh, I felt so good. Something should have physically changed, right? And I feel like who I'm talking to, you deal with that a lot. You feel that a lot. And so I said, okay, hold on. There's a pattern there. There's something sneaky, hidden, unconscious there. What the fuck is it? And I asked the question. I was like, show me what that is. Show me that hidden little like hook that's in my subconscious mind so I can address it. And I can't remember how it dawned on me. I was kind of tapping. And I was just like, okay, I was tapping through the surface level issue of like being disappointed whenever I don't see a physical change, right? And I was like, okay, what is underneath that? This has got to come to a head. And that's the beautiful thing. That's the beautiful part of this message. And I'm going to share it with you in a second. The beautiful part of this message is that this is coming to an end, okay? Whatever that is for you that kind of pulls you out of your joy, that kind of pulls you out of your trust and your faith, that is coming to a head and it's coming to an end, okay? The cycle's ending. There is so much cycle ending shit in this message today. It's beautiful and it's so uncomfortable, okay? Wherever you are, you're probably pretty uncomfortable. I think I've gotten so acclimated to being uncomfortable in this process, in these liminal states, in these like transformation states. I've learned to just like find joy in it. So even when I'm uncomfortable in this way, like there's a weird sense of pleasure I'm deriving from it because I understand the process and I trust it. But I feel like for some of you, that's not where you're at with it. You're like fucking uncomfortable and you're like, when is this going to stop? Like what's going to happen? So I'm confident that today, for those who resonate with this message, you're going to feel seen in a way that helps you trust this process more and helps you embrace it a little more. Because really, there's no like running from this discomfort. I'm going to keep it real with you. There's no running from it, okay? This process is uncomfortable, and I'm going to explain why in just a few minutes. But let's go into this thing, because here's what came up as I was tapping, as I was working through this. There was this thought that came through. And the word, actually a word that came through. And the word is earning. Earning. And immediately I went to my journal. I was like, okay, ooh. Okay, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about this. The word earning. And here's the thought that came through. Where is it? I must prove my value to receive support. And then I was like, well, why? Why would we have to do that? Why would that make sense to me? Why would I believe that? Oh, because support is limited. There's the core belief. Support is limited. Love is limited. There's this perception that it's all going to run out. It's all going to go away. There's not enough. There's not enough water. There's not enough food. There's not enough money. There's not enough this. There's not enough that. And I'm not saying that has not been the experience. Okay. I grew up in poverty. I grew up in lack. Okay. I was raised by lack. Like, it's just, that's the window I came into, and I came into it for a fucking reason. And this is the reason. Like, everything that's coming to a head for me right now is the reason why. And a part of what I'm going to say to you today is the reason why I came in through this window. And same for you. Because you were the cycle breaker, because this is, there is distortion here. In that thought, that belief, I must prove my value to receive support because support is limited. That, there is distortion. So I was breaking it down, and I was like, okay, and I came to that belief or that idea because I realized I broke down to earn. You know, what does it mean to earn something? Receiving something based on ability or hard work, not ease or luck. Not ease or luck. There has to be some sort of strain involved. Okay? If a thing is not earned, then it is not deserved. And these are unconscious patterns. This is programming that we are collectively like under. Okay, this is like a mental cage that we've been existing in. And I literally felt it like that when it became obvious to me. I remember I was tapping, and I could feel myself becoming aware that there were bars around me and darkness encircling me. But I was aware of it. I became aware of it, which means you're no longer at the mercy of it. When you can really look at it and you're not just being swept up by it, you're outside of it, essentially, even if it kind of looks like you're still in it. So, okay. If a thing is not earned, then it isn't deserved. So there's an unconscious story being told in the back of your mind, like the thoughts you're actually giving your attention to subconsciously, because it's a habit. You picked it up from a very young age before you could ever discern, whoa, this doesn't make sense to me. But okay. To obtain something, to obtain money, recognition, support, etc., in return for labor, service, or merit, or performance. Receiving must be justified. This is the center here. Okay, this is like the meat of this pie, if you will. And this is the distortion that's fucking keeping us stuck. Okay? And I invite you, actually, if you're familiar with tapping, I invite you to tap as we talk about this, if this is resonating. Because as you're tapping, you're going to be metabolizing the unconscious emotions that are keeping this loud for you. Okay? And you're helping the process. Let's go ahead and bring out the first fucking card. You're helping this process. This mortification process. And I felt so turned on, activated by this eye in the center and these worms. I immediately heard earthworms. Okay? There is a mortification process happening. And just because that sounds intense, I know. This is death before rebirth. Okay, this is a breaking down process. This is the earthworm eating the fucking decaying matter and turning it into fertile soil. Okay? I hope you're with me. Because that's a kapow moment right there. Okay? And what is decaying is this fucking story. This idea that you have to prove that you are deserving of what is rightfully yours. Okay? Because you know what came on the other side of this revelation? I have my own supply. I have my own supply. You have your own supply. I fucking wrote it on my Substack in a note. I'm going to read it to you. Hold on. Where is it? Hold on. It might be scheduled. Okay. This is what I wrote. You are an expression of the infinite. And this came off the tail end of this revelation, you guys. It's pure spirit speaking through me. You are an expression of the infinite. Therefore, you have an infinite supply. I feel a burp coming up. A confirmation burp is coming. Oh, she's quiet. Okay. Okay. So you are an expression of the infinite. Therefore, you have an infinite supply. It's your sustained focus on the idea of lack. The idea of lack. It's not an objective fact. It's an idea. Okay? Okay. Woo! Confirmation bar. There she is. Okay. It's your sustained focus on the idea of lack that attunes you to the experience of lack. But it doesn't remove the fact that you have your own supply. You tapping into your supply, which is essentially, when I say your supply, I'm thinking, look at your desires, your genuine desires, not borrowed shit that you think you need to have to feel good about yourself. I'm talking genuinely, this is mine, this is what I want. I don't know if I'm going to ever get it. I don't believe if I can have it, but this is what I genuinely want, okay? That is your own supply beckoning you. It's speaking to you, okay? But there's a wound here. There's a wound here about deservingness and unworthiness, and that shit has got to go. And I hope today this message starts unraveling that for someone. If not, book a fucking private session with me. We will rip it out. We'll rip it out. It won't make any sense anymore. Anyway, okay. You tapping into your supply does not cost someone else their supply. And that's a big part of the wound for some of you, because some of you are fucking good-natured people. And some deep down part of you feels like, I don't want to be morally wrong. I don't want to be unfair. I don't want to take away from anyone else, so I'd rather just do without. But here's the thing. You tapping into your supply has a completely opposite effect of what you're fearing. You have an infinite supply. I have an infinite supply. Joe Schmo has an infinite supply. Homo, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was trying to say homeless. Oh my God, y'all. Okay. The homeless guy on the street has an infinite supply. Don't come for me, y'all. I was married to a woman. Don't come for me. I'm just kidding. Okay. I'm not kidding. But anyway, the internet can be a scary place. Okay. You have an infinite supply. I have an infinite supply. Just as you were conditioned to believe, okay, listen to this. Just as you were conditioned to believe that resources can and will run out, you can condition yourself to believe that resources are everlasting, shape-shifting, and infinite. So if something looks like it's running out, either it's not and we're just looking at it wrong, or it's just changing shape, okay? And that when you have a demand, i.e. a desire, okay, a want, a need, it is because you have a supply for it. If there is a need, there is a supply. Okay? And this really just like boils down to the law of oneness, to the idea that there is only one energy. I don't even want to say idea, to the fact that there's only one fucking energy. We are all just individual expressions, remnants, fractals of this one big energy. You can call it God, source, the quantum field, whatever the fuck you want to call it, the vortex, the void, whatever. Either way, that exists with or without us, but we do not exist without that one energy, okay? And that one energy does not discriminate either, my friends. That one energy, if you look around, think about diversity in and of itself. Like, that one energy is so loving and so accepting. That one energy isn't judging anything. It's not criticizing anything. It's not deeming this is worthy, this is unworthy. You know, we're fucking doing that. We're doing that with the way we're structuring our perception. And that's the thing that I wanted to say to you guys. Like, when you understand that, then it just exists. Like, the thing you want, and this is scientific at this point, the thing you want, it just exists. It's just there. But you're creating space between you and the experience of this thing or this version of yourself. Really, it's not about the thing at all. It's about this version of yourself. This thing is just an expression. Like, your physical desire is just an expression of who you want to be. That's just an effect of that state of being, okay? That's why, like, when we get hung up on the things, we just kind of get stuck and we loop and we loop and we loop because we're missing the truth. We're not looking at it from the truth. We're actually avoiding being who we truly want to be when we're doing that. We're avoiding the alchemical process, the undoing, the unraveling. Because why? Because it's fucking uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable. But, you know, I remember saying this at one point in time, and I'll probably say this over and over again. discomfort, all this stuff, that's a gift. It's a blessing. That's why I made myself okay with discomfort, even though it sucks sometimes. And there's sometimes it's worse than other times. Like I had not too long ago, like I think it was on the full moon. I was so uncomfortable. I wanted to crawl out of my skin, but you know what I did? I celebrated that shit. I was like, oh, I feel like I'm not where I used to be. I'm laying in my bed trying to go to sleep and my body feels different. I feel different. I feel like I have new skin on and I don't know how to wear it. Like, I don't, you know, it was that kind of like, ugh. But I understood that's what unfamiliarity, that's what it feels like. When you're in the unknown, that's what the unknown feels like. When you're not in your comfort zone, that's what it feels like. It's uncomfortable. But that's the sensation of newness. And that sensation will eventually become the new normal. So, okay, back to this. And I'm hoping, I'm just praying, I'm trusting this is all going to make sense in the big picture of things. So there's a big opportunity here, if you will, or maybe it's already just happening and this is not anything that you need to even like think about or consider. It's just happening, and this is just putting words to it. Maybe we're just putting words to it, but this whole story, this whole wounding around earning, it is disintegrating. Okay, it's literally being eaten up by the goddamn earthworms. Let me see, what did it say? Okay, so I want to give you some symbolism here. The single eye in this card, this right here, this card, this eye showing up in the mortification process is so beautiful, because literally unity perception is what a single eye represents symbolically. Unity perception, the law of oneness, okay? Divine intelligence at work. Meaning even all the chaos, there is divine intelligence. There's actually, I pulled the card earlier. It was the card of chaos. And the card of chaos, there was like, I couldn't help but notice in the imagery on the card, there was like a spider web off to the side within the black mush. And I was like, oh, okay. That's some divine intelligence right there. Okay. This eye represents seeing invisible dynamics, becoming conscious of something, realization, awakening, truth coming into focus, intuition, inner knowing. So some of you are going through this process and it's hard not to doubt yourself. Like some of you are really doubting yourselves and you're like, I want to transcend that. I want to stop falling into this whole like fear that I'm doing something wrong, that I'm not doing enough, blah, blah, blah. Because your inner knowing is speaking to you, but you don't feel safe trusting it on some level. There's some part of you that's not feeling safe trusting it. Guess what? That's a fucking tapping session away, dude. I literally, like, I reclaimed my safety in rooms where I was unsafe. Like, that's just, you gotta be where you are. You gotta work with where you are because you were there for a reason. If you don't feel safe, work with that energy. Tapping helps your body feel safe in the process of this undoing. It literally is a somatic signal to your body, to your nervous system. Hey, we're safe here. Everything's okay. You can be uncomfortable and it's okay. That's why I'm so okay with the discomfort now. And I embrace it more than I ever did before because I tapped. I tapped through it. I self-soothed. I fucking gave myself something. I gave myself a connection to safety that was independent of anything outside of me. That was unconditional. Okay, that's a big call to action to somebody. Yeah, awareness beyond ordinary seeing. So there's a message here that whatever inner knowing that you're kind of tapping into right now, like it might just be like, ooh, this is happening for a reason, or ooh, something's happening under the surface, even though I don't see the physical stuff happening. Like everything feels loud in here, even though out here it looks quiet and stagnant. Trust that shit. That is your inner knowing. That is your divinity, your source. Another burp is making its way up. Okay. It is talking to you, okay? But then also, oh, earthworms. Okay, so the earthworms in here, oh my God, so beautiful, okay? They are masters of hidden transformation. They literally transform decay into nourishment, meaning this earning story, this idea, this identity, this state of being you've existed in for so long, this programming, it is being fucking eaten away. It is decaying and it is being turned into nourishment for you. The truth is being revealed through it, okay? What else? Dead matter goes in, fertile soil comes out. Something that beneath the surface is quietly turning old material into new life. That's what this mortification process is telling us, okay? And some like, I felt called to let you guys know, like, hey, here's some like signs that this is happening. Confirmation, okay? Just confirmation. You might notice the way you're thinking about things is shifting, even before your behavior. My kids are freaking yelling out there. The way that you tend to emotionally react is starting to shift. Like the old behaviors aren't feeling as appealing. Like there's just something in you that's like, I just kind of want to respond differently. I kind of want to do this differently. Like I had this happen the other day. I felt this jealousy come up inside of me. And it was a very familiar feeling. It was with my ex, because I'm really good friends with him. And I just felt this sense of jealousy and territorialness. And I was like, oh, hold on. That's something coming up to be rewritten in this moment. And I tapped on it and I worked on it and I worked through it. And I reacted differently. I responded totally differently because I was like, I'm not doing the same thing. I'm not that person anymore. But sometimes the remnants come up to be like, okay, not really a test, but it's more so like, how do you want to say it? Like an update, like updating the hardware or whatever. I don't know, like updating something, right? And so it's an opportunity for you to reinforce who you've been. Only this isn't such a forceful thing anymore. This is starting to feel more natural and more effortless for you because of this mortification process that you're going through. There's a sense of uncertainty, like this gap. You know you're not who you used to be, but you're not really being, like your external self is still kind of being mirrored to you. Or like, no, the external world is still kind of mirroring your old self to you in some ways, but you can see changes. Like they're very subtle. It might just be the energy that you're existing in. It might just be the way that you're moving. You're moving it slightly differently or something like that. You feel like you're processing a lot internally. Big internal changes, but quiet external, reduced urge to force. Like, even though that's uncomfortable, okay, because I'm definitely in that. Like, I'm in pure surrender mode, but it is uncomfortable because we used to like, just to try to give ourselves this illusion of safety and control, we would force ourselves to do things, burn ourselves out, over efforting. But all of that is just literally a part of this earning mentality. And mind you, let me go back to that real quick. I'm going to break this shit down, okay? Earning, all right? Earning, that concept of it is a strategy, a survival strategy, or a behavior, or a ripple, however you want to define it, an expression of a worldview based on the idea of separation or scarcity. Okay, which is the exact opposite of the law of oneness. This is saying, I don't believe I'm connected to anything greater than myself. I don't believe I'm connected to any of you fuckers. It's every man for himself out here, which is completely false, completely fucking false. And we have new science to even prove this shit to us. For those of you who need it, I needed it, and that's okay. But okay, that was just one way. Okay, earning, the strategy, the separation is just one way of defining an experience, okay? That's it. It's just one way. And a lot of the times when you feel an intense emotion like fear or whatever, if you don't have consciousness with you, if you don't have the awareness yet, okay, which is all a part of the process. Even not knowing is a part of the process. Not being aware is part of the process. There's something happening in there. Through that, it all ends up making sense. That's what this 10-year cycle has taught me. It all ends up making sense. And we hear that all the time from people who are a few steps ahead of us. But anyway, what was I saying? Fuck, I lost my train of thought. What was it? Oh yeah, okay. When we have those intense emotions and we don't have the conscious awareness or the discernment, the thoughts are automatically offering themselves to us, okay? The emotion brings in the thoughts. More of those thoughts, the more you focus on them, bring in more thoughts, and it makes you feel the same way that you're thinking, okay? This is like a chemical process happening in your body, biological process. So it's easy to get trapped in a storyline like that. It's easy to believe, oh, well then if I want to make it in this world, or if I want to make it in this group, if I want to belong here, then I need to prove myself worthy and deserving of my piece of the pie, right? It makes sense that we would end up believing that and thinking that and living that way if we believe in scarcity. So there is this big transformation. This is the fucking transformation. We're leaving behind the belief in scarcity. And in fact, I invite you to pray that shit away right now. Tell your source, I cast this belief in scarcity upon you. I cast it out to you. I give it to you so that I can go free to live in the truth of oneness. Say it with fucking conviction. Say it in a way that resonates with you. Okay? But all right, back to this. Just had to say that. So some physical symptoms that you might be experiencing if you're in this mortification process. And the physical symptoms are happening because your nervous system, your body, confirmation back, it's reducing its output to repair the internal structure, to reorganize the internal structure, if you will. So fatigue, that rest just doesn't help. Hello? I'm in that one. Big time. I literally could not sleep last night. I had insomnia like a motherfucker. I wasn't able to go to sleep until 5 o'clock in the morning. Let's see. Brain fog. Heightened or like a sense of flattened emotional waves. Like you might be like, oh, over here. And then you might be like, over here. Sleep changes, like we've already said. Body heaviness, sensory sensitivity, sense of liminality. Like you're in between spaces. You don't feel like you're really rooted yet, you know, you kind of feel like you're floating in this sense. And external reality might feel really stalled. Like, whereas you might feel like you're making a lot of internal progress, reality feels like it's not moving at all. That is on purpose. That is on purpose. That is a part of the process, okay? That's not, you're not failing. You're not behind. Like 222 on my fucking clock right now. Nothing is not moving. Everything's moving. But you got to understand that this out here is a mirror to you. And right now, you are in this middle ground. You are in this like containment, if you will, okay? Things might feel tiring, messy, disorganized. You might feel ultra sensitive. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So there's some physical symptoms, and you guys can let me know. You're welcome to comment and let me know like what you're experiencing. And then the number 68 is on this card. We've got number 68 up here. And so 6 is just some keywords here: harmony, nurturing, integration. Hello. 8, power, infinity. Hello. Material mastery. So combining them together, there is this sense of power, this like conscious connection, this conscious mastery, if you will, over your material world that is starting to grow and starting to build inside of you. And it's turning on through this surrender process. And you really have to surrender here, and you know it because you are. Like a part of you just knows, like, I have to surrender to this. Like I really don't have another choice. Like what? Otherwise it just feels even worse. I feel like shit. And so you might be resting more, or you might be feeling called to rest more. And then the number 68 reduces to the number 5, which is hello, change, instability, initiation. Okay. This is transitional discomfort, and it's temporary. Okay. Somebody needed to hear that today. It is temporary. Now, here's the really cool thing. And I want you to keep that earning thing in mind. Okay. The sense of like, what's my supply isn't actually rightfully mine. I can't just go to my source and ask for what I want or give myself what I want. And that in a practical sense literally looks like having the thought, putting your attention on the thought. I have this. I have X, Y, and Z, whatever. I am blah, blah, blah. And then letting your body feel good in that. Noticing how good that feels, to put your attention fully on that. That feels hard. That feels hard to do. It feels hard to trust and accept and follow and exist in because of this earning thing. Because then you're going back to the program, and the program says, I have to prove that I have that. I have to prove that I'm worthy of that. Excuse me, confirmation burp. My God, I'm so belchy today. That usually only happens when I drink some bubbly stuff, and I have not drank any bubbly stuff today. But yeah, so there's this like, so this is all the shit that's like decaying inside of us, and the earthworms within symbolically are eating it up and turning it into something beautiful. And here's the other card that came out. Ooh, you guys, we've got the new pearl. The new fucking pearl. So pearls, I didn't know this until today, but apparently pearls are formed when something uncomfortable enters the oyster and then it gets transformed. Hello. And like, how valuable are pearls? Like, come on, you guys, think about it. So this is representing the symbolism of the pearl is wisdom and beauty formed through irritation, pressure, and time. Sound familiar? The thing that hurt becomes the medicine. Somebody needs to look into their Chiron. There's a lot of clarity in that. Pressure, if you can. If not, don't worry about it. Pressure that has been forming treasure. That's the big kapow here. Pressure that has been forming treasure. And the treasure is not the fucking manifestation, okay? That is an effect of the treasure. The treasure is what I was talking about in the very beginning. It's that sense of connection to something bigger than you. That part of yourself that is called source, which is really all of you. You're an expression of that. You're an individual expression, a remnant, a fractal of that. A window through fucking consciousness. That's what you are. And your existence, it's important because of that alone. Your existence is important because you fucking exist. I don't know who needed to hear that. You matter and you deserve it and you're worthy because you fucking exist. You were literally handpicked. You are a hand of God, okay? There's no like if and buts or bullshit about it. Like, if you're alive, you fucking matter. You were contributing to the collective consciousness, for better or worse. And no matter how it's happening, it's by divine design, okay? There is divine intelligence in all of it. Okay. This pearl energy represents a version of yourself, and you already feel it. You already feel this. You're already in connection with this. This is confirmation. It's representing a softer, wiser, more inherently valuable, meaning you're in recognition of your inherent value. Not value that you proved or earned, just inherent value. I just am because I am. Okay, that kind of energy. It's like that Beyonce song, I'm That Girl. It's not my stance, it's not my man, it's not this, it's not that. I'm that girl. It's just who the fuck I am, okay? Somebody needs to listen to that song, because oh my god, so good. Also Power by her. Oh, it's so good, so fire. But okay, this is a softer, wiser version of you that is emerging, and you already feel it internally, but it's just not fully reflected externally because you're still undergoing this mortification process, and this treasure is still being materialized within you, if you will. You're becoming someone who couldn't have existed without the pressure. Okay? So, like for me, I've had a 10-year long ass journey. Money's been my teacher. And it's been hard. I've had some rough ass shit. But because I showed up to those rough moments with consciousness and I decided to work with it instead of against it, instead of resisting it, and I decided to see that everything's happening for me because all is good, all is love. Even though I didn't know how to believe that, I just trusted it. And every fucking bad thing ended up leading me somewhere good. And that's the truth of it. That's really the truth of it. And then there was this other one. The final card that we pulled. There's a spider on the other one. Haha. The Peacock's Tail. Look at all those fucking colors, you guys. Like literally we have this dark forest behind us, right? And this burst of light coming through. Let me go read this symbolism to you guys. Oh, and the new pearl, let me look at the numbers for that actually. We have another 6. 6s and 5s are big in this reading. Okay, 6s and 5s. So let me see. Yeah, also there's this energy of like you're not returning to who you were. So anybody who's kind of worried that like this is temporary, like this identity change, it's not. It's fucking permanent. There's no going back, okay? There's no going back. You're here. You're here to stay, baby. But okay, so we have the 6, which is related to harmony, the heart space, devotion. And then we have the 5 again, which is change, transition, also freedom. Okay, this feels like change that eventually restores inner peace, and it reduces to the number 11. If you hear a wildly erratic 4-year-old in the background, it is my Leo moon child. Wow. Bless her little fiery soul. Okay, 11 is we've got intuition, we've got portals, heightened consciousness, spiritual alignment, revelation. Hello, revelation. And so this card is talking about if you haven't been having if you haven't had that woo come to Jesus moment, if you will, it's coming. It's forming right now. I had mine last night and I keep having it in different layers. I don't mean it's a one and done. I just mean like there are these moments when it's like shit just makes sense. Shit, and if you think of 11, it's like these two pillars, right? They're mirroring each other. It's like everything just kind of, it's like, oh, that now makes sense with this thing. And it's like, oh, it's like a full picture kind of energy. Oh, and then this line, I'm beginning to become the person this whole journey was secretly making. Okay. Now let's look at this peacock one. Okay, the peacock's tail. So apparently in the alchemical process, oh my God. In classical alchemy, strange iridescent colors emerge in the vessel, signaling that transformation is underway. Okay, so what this is talking about is you are beginning to see evidence. And if you aren't yet, it's happening. And this video is just like a part of that confirmation. This isn't representing final manifestation though. This isn't representing, oh, boom, there it is, okay? This is proof that the process is alive. And this is coming through in synchronicities, little insights, meaningful timing, symbolic confirmation. Like you see something and you look it up and it's like, oh shit, that's exactly what I'm dealing with. Or like maybe you listen to a video and somebody says, oh, you might be seeing blue butterflies. And then before that you saw a blue butterfly. And then after that you really saw a blue butterfly. And it's like, oh shit, all these things are just lining up to be like, hey, look, look, look. Okay. Sudden clarity, emotional breakthroughs, stuff like that. And it just gives you this sense that, okay, there is really something happening underneath the surface. So yeah, signs of transformation, beauty emerging from chaos. Sorry, I'm back. Chaos, mom life, right? Okay. So back to the peacock, back to the peacock. Okay, yeah, there's like this thing about holding paradox, which literally goes into what we're talking about when it comes to scarcity versus oneness. It's like the paradox in that is the awareness that, yeah, this is real when you believe in it. This is real when you're tuned into that window. Or if you're like, think of it as like a mansion. And scarcity is a room in that house, okay? And abundance is a room in that house. You can experience either which one that you want to experience, but it's your attention, your consistent, sustained focus that essentially tunes you in to the frequency of that room. And so if you walk into that room, it's because you're in that state of being. And all you can see are the effects of that room. So if scarcity has a fucking like orange couch and green curtains, and then abundance has pink curtains and a light blue couch, just fucking go with me, then that's all you're gonna see when you're in those respective spaces. It's just like how your perception works. Like when you're tuned into the belief of scarcity, you get tunnel vision. You can't see abundance in that way. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, okay? And it's just about what you're tuned into. And so for somebody, that's freedom, because that right there shows you, oh, so if I want to get out of that belief, I just need to shift my focus. And again, that's where I bring up tapping, because tapping helps prune away that old wiring in your brain super fucking fast. So fast. And the next thing you know, it doesn't make sense anymore. I remember going into, I say this all the time, I remember the most profound moment I had, and I can't even remember what the fuck it was, but I remember I was stuck in this fear and I couldn't see past it, and I was like tunnel vision. Complete tunnel vision, full body tunnel vision. And I remember I went to go take a shower just to like, I don't know, I just felt called to take a shower. And then I started tapping on what I was feeling. And then next thing I know, after within like 5 or 10 minutes of tapping, it's like a fucking curtain lifted. And I was like, oh my God, that shit don't even make sense anymore. Like literally, it was like a permanent change. And that's how powerful tapping is. So don't sleep on that shit. I slept on it for a long time. But yeah, so there's like this, honestly, being able to hold paradox in that way is truly beautiful. It really is. It's like, it creates this sense of wisdom and expansion in your spirit. And it's just like, it's wonderful. I love it. It's like fear and certainty, fear versus certainty, fatigue versus expansion. It's like, I feel it, but I know. I feel this, but I know. You know what I mean? And it's like the glue that's holding it together is this trust. It's this sense of trust. And the sense of trust really does feel earned in that sense, because you have gone through all these processes, you've taken all this shit that you were handed, and you really have reconfigured it into something beautiful, something, you know, truly, truly meaningful, something helpful and expansive for you and those around you. But okay, this number is 55. Which is amplified change. Because we got 5 is already instability. It's already, you know, all for the sake of, it's not chaos just for chaos. Chaos has divine intelligence in it. And so this is just like, I think the more important part of this is the 10. 5 plus 5 equals 10. And hello, 10-year cycle. Somebody really is exiting a 10-year cycle. You're on the edge of that shit. You're in year 10 of this cycle. You're leaving. Okay, which means you're also beginning a new cycle. And that's really the culmination of all of this shit. That's really what this is, okay? You've got something old is dissolving, an old identity, an old belief. Wisdom, a new sense of wisdom and identity is crystallizing inside of you, literally on a cellular level, you guys. Like, this kind of change is not just like fucking like clouds in the air floating by. Like, it's literally physical change. Emotional change, mental change is physical change. And then signs begin appearing to tell you that the transformation is real. And not just to tell you that the transformation is real, but just because that's a part of the process. And then guess what? Eventually, physical shit's really gonna start fucking changing. And I don't know what that's gonna look like for you or me. Honestly, I have no fucking clue, but I feel this excitement in my belly that's like, oh, but I know it's gonna be good. I know it's gonna be good. Because of how good this feels. Because of how good it fucking feels to be tapped into this oneness, to be like really, I don't even know. I'm like losing it. I'm losing it. I know this has been a long ass message, but I trust that if you're still here, you were here for this and you needed to hear this shit today. The bottom line of all this, okay, let's just wrap it up and put a pretty little bow on top. The bottom line of all of this is you are coming out of this perception that you have to earn your right to your supply. You are coming into the embodied realization, not the idea, not just floating in the head, like it's in the body, meaning you feel it. You feel it in your bones. And when you feel it in your bones, you can't argue with that shit, okay? You're coming into the embodied understanding that you are an expression of the infinite source, whatever you want to call it, of God, whatever you want to call it. And because of that, you have your own infinite supply. We all do. And to pull from your supply in the form of money, resources, nourishing relationships, beautiful home, whatever it is for you, whatever your desire is pointing you to, you're realizing, or you're going to realize, this is coming up through you, that doesn't take away from anyone else. And some of you really just need to tap out some of this last shit. Or if you don't, if it's just happening for you, cool. But, you know, some of you just really need to metabolize some of these remnants of this energy, the last little bit of this shit, of this story, this emotion of undeservingness that makes you believe this story. Because I feel like my ear, the hearing just changed. Wow. Yeah, my right ear just kind of went out a little bit. Ugh, that's cool. But yeah, there's like this realization emerging through you that you're fucking whole. You've always been whole. You came through to experience scarcity, to bring the light into it, to be the truth within it. Okay? Like, you are the fucking truth. You are the light in the dark room. You didn't need to go get the light. The money was never the light. The abundance was never the light. Because you are the abundance. You are the money. You are the fucking money. Okay? And you have every right. You are blatantly entitled to your supply. Meaning, you have the ability, should you so free yourself to express it and utilize it, Again, tapping helps that. Tapping clears that bullshit and your truth naturally emerges. That's why I'm sitting here saying this to you. You are 100% entitled to tap into your supply. Sorry, my battery totally fucking died. Jesus Christ. Fuck. See, chaos, you guys, chaos. But okay, you have the ability to use your thoughts, okay? Let me just say this real quick and then I promise I'm wrapping this up. Just like the idea, I want you to look at it like a fucking, like, write it down as a sentence on your paper. I must prove my value to receive support because support is limited. I want you to understand something about that statement. It is just an idea. And it is just the way that the infinite one energy has been organized. It is a pattern of, like, it's just the way that we've strung the energy together, okay? That can be rearranged. That can be reorganized in a different pattern. You can literally change it by saying, instead of I must prove my value, you can say, I am aware of my value, okay? I must prove my value to receive support. I am aware of my value and the support it creates because support is, instead of limited, unlimited. You can change the way you structure your thoughts and it changes how you feel. I've played with this enough to experience it firsthand. Play with it yourself. Don't just take my word for it. You know, try it on for size. Give your undiluted attention. I did this at the lowest low of my low. I practiced this. The only thing that makes it hard is focus. Like if I put my attention on a thought, I am rich. I am rich. I am rich. If I have resistance and conflicting beliefs to that, my body's going to resist that. My nervous system is going to contract at the idea of that. But even with that being true, if you focus, and how I would do that is I would literally put myself in a black room in my mind and I would put that sentence up there like on a whiteboard or on a blackboard, like written in white chalk. I am rich. I am rich. And I wouldn't think about what it means. I would just look at the sentence itself, the structure of the sentence itself, and I would notice what my body does. And that's when I learned, oh, I'm just not focused. And that's why it's hard for me to think differently because I'm so used to thinking this way. These are more familiar. I am broke, I am broke, I am broke. I'm more familiarized with that storyline. I've said that thought so many times that my body, my nervous system is so acclimated to it that to look in a different direction, the first response is like, oh, what are you doing? You know, that's normal. Tapping is what helps resolve that, by the way. Tapping will cut that shit down to nothing and you will just feel safe saying that statement. And so I've cleared up so much clutter from tapping that now majority of the time I can think whatever I want and I can just like focus on it enough to feel it. And so now I can go into my mind. I'm still learning how to stay there, but it takes practice. I can go into my mind and see myself experiencing exactly what I want and experience almost no resistance to it. It just drops into my body. Because I've cleared all the shit that made me feel like I have to earn that. I have to prove myself worthy of that. I have to blah, 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 blah. No, motherfucker, I don't. No, I don't. Because I'm a goddamn remnant of the divine. I am made in God's image, if you will. If you want to say it like that. There's some value in that religious verbiage, okay? You know, just take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But that, I am capable of doing that, and so are you. And when you do that, when you put your attention on, like, so if you take your genuine desire and you structure that into a sentence, meet yourself where you are. Don't force yourself to say an affirmation if it's really hurting you. Like I said, you need to tap and release that energy in order to move forward with it. So in order for your body to actually accept it. But you get to a point where you can do that. Then when you're doing that and you put your attention on that, you're creating a chemical reaction in your body. And that's changing how you feel. It's changing your frequency. It's changing the energy that you're projecting out. And that's conditioning your body to a new fucking identity. It's conditioning your body to a new energy. And when you do that over and over and over and over again and tie it in with some fucking tapping, which reprograms how you think, okay? Completely rewires that shit on a very subconscious level, okay? Then it becomes permanent and it becomes who you are. And that's when everything starts changing. And some of you have been doing this on purpose. Some of you have not been doing it on purpose. But this is an invitation to fucking do it on purpose, dude. Do it on fucking purpose. and let that story go because it's not true. It was never true. It didn't have to be true. It's only true if you believe it. Like, it really is, because then you're activating that shit in your nervous system. And so if you're still doing that, it's time to let it go. This is something you need to let go of. Support this mortification process. And a lot of you, I really just feel like this is confirmation of what's already happening. So with that all being said, if you guys want to work with me one-on-one, if you guys want to clear some of this whole subconscious clutter, some of this bullshit with tapping, I offer one-on-one sessions for that. And I bring the cards into it too, or astrology for anyone who resonates with that kind of shit. Like, because to me, that stuff has always helped me. It helps me kind of peek behind the curtain of my subconscious mind. And so, yeah, if you want to do that with me, I'll put the link in the description so you guys can book a session. But I also have pre-recorded tapping audios. So, you know, you can browse through those and see if one resonates with you and use that as your entry point if that helps too. Either way, I designed them very intentionally and made them really potent. So yeah, use them and be ready to change. Be ready to experience a big inner shift with tapping for sure. But all right, I love you guys. I'm going to go and I will catch you guys in the next video. Make sure you're subscribed. Mwah.